Mm.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to the InfernoCast, episode 052. I am Fox, the host of the podcast here and of YouTube's InfernoFox gaming channel. We are here on YouTube as well as broadcast audio only on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and more. Joining me tonight for this special, slightly off the cuff episode are my fantastic cast and crew members. We have Stormrosesky of the Twitch and YouTube channels of Stormrosesky. Storm, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. This is my last day of summer. Boo-hoo. Back to school tomorrow, but it's my first year to be on the opposite end of that, being nervous about the first day of school. Now I get to be on the teacher end, so that should be fun. We'll see how it goes tomorrow. And I'm planning on getting more videos up. I still have to talk to you about things, but we'll talk later. It's a
Nice. Yeah.
pleasure to be here.
Well, we'll definitely have discussions about that, and I'll provide feedback when and how I can.
Yep, of course.
Um, Also joining us is Simbu Darkfang. He is host of the Scurry Face Wrestling Federation show, or the SFWF. Yes, I had to write that down because I can't remember it. And those watching on YouTube, I apparently ignore the SFWF that is on Simbu's background, literally in the upper right-hand corner. You can't miss it. He also streams there Sunday nights on Twitch, and it's a really fun show. Simbu does the announcements and announcing and commentary. Really a lot of a good time. Absolutely recommend that you check that out for some wonderful WWE 2K24 goodness. Simbu, thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, he remembered this time. Yay.
It's not like I cheated and put it in my notes or anything. Nothing like
Of course, yeah, it's a lot of fun there on Sunday nights. Um, as of the recording of this, there are 3 more shows until a 2-month break. As haunt season starts kicking off, roughly mid-September or so. So a lot of the Scurry Face reps will be performing and for your entertainment and helping you enjoy the spooky season. So Wizzo and I figured it'd be best to take a 2-month break, kind of let all that, and then we'll be coming back. Should be the first Sunday of November. I have to double check the calendar, make sure that it's not like October, it's October 31st, November 1st, right there and there, because I don't want to come back because everybody will still be open that weekend. But just a real quick fair warning. If you do enjoy me on here, I'm not so PG on the SFWF shows. So, it's a bit more PG-13. Because, I'm allowed, I've given a little bit more of a ability to expand certain things.
Yes,
So,
there is a lot less restriction on the vocabulary on the Scurry Face Twitch streaming. So be ready for some very colorful language. You have been warned.
but it's
Also
all
joining us,
done properly,
yes,
not
when
done just for the sake.
yes, it's like any nude scene. It is okay when it is done properly. Though, disclaimer, Simba will not be nude for the SFWF unless
I
by
No
don't even have a
request.
camera
promises.
on,
No
so
promises on that.
Yes, no promises.
hey, I don't have a camera on for that, so you guys don't know what I'm wearing.
Oh, speaking of naked, Jason the 13th. He is also part of our crew and has his YouTube channel of Jason the 13th. You cannot see below his shoulders, so we won't really ever know. Jason the 13th, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, first, it's nice to know that I'm officially part of the crew, but not a problem about being here. I love being here.
And we love having you,
The
definitely.
reason why we only see his shoulders is because he's wearing a crop top.
No.
Just like Brittany. Oh, and finally, we have Jamie Owls 87, my partner and partner in crime. She also joins me in the monthly Games We Are Playing series, of which we'll have a new video premiering this Friday at 6 p.m. Central Time. And Jamie Owls, thank you so much for joining us.
Uh, Thanks. I'm just trying to erase some of the images that popped in my head. So
What is seen cannot be unseen.
I'm trying not
Fox,
to.
it's all your fault.
Um,
Yeah.
before we kick off our discussion, we got a pre-discussion topic before we get into the main one. Just a quick word from our sponsor, NordVPN. No, Raid Shadow Legends, or should we do Factor? What do we think? What Jason the 13th? Is this a Raid Shadow Legends sponsored video? What do you think?
I don't know anymore. I was gonna say those are some of the top ones you see on like every sponsor.
Oh my
I
gosh,
have-
right?
I have a comment about Factor. We have actually used Factor. Their delivery service is poop, though. The
Ooh.
the delivery service they use is VO delivery, and it is basically like an Uber for delivery. People pick up
Ugh.
your stuff when they can, whenever someone gets the assignment and they don't read instructions. So we had four wrong deliveries and canceled their service. So I
Nope.
guess there goes any chance with Factor right now.
So there you go. We are reverse sponsored. We are
Yes.
not recommending Factor.
Not used.
Until they get their delivery figured out, it is trash. It really is. And their customer service is all AI. You get only a telephone number to text them, and it is AI generated responses. So I will have to remember that next time.
Wonder that's the wave of the future.
Yeah. Meh.
But and AI is going to be something that we're going to be touching upon on a future topic, because that's something that's really salient to the video game industry. But tonight we're going to be jumping into sort of a wild card topic here. Before we get into that, the pre-discussion topic, and this is something we touched upon previously on another episode, and it's kind of just a general question for you guys, and it's how have party games changed your parties, parties that you've attended, parties that you either have hosted, and this includes stuff with that like the Jackbox party packs, and even video game versions of board games like Monopoly and Clue and whatnot. Just want to see, like, from your guys' viewpoint, if that's changed any of the parties. And we're in a unique spot here. All of us, all five of us here, we have a combined age of nearly 2 centuries. That's two centuries of age right here on your screen if you're watching on YouTube or listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and more. 200 years of experience. And a lot of us played those classic board games and card games, physical stuff, in our 20s. And now that we're old, we've also been playing the Jackbox games more recently. So Jason the 13th, I'll ask you first. Based on the parties and whatnot that we used to attend and host and everything in the 20s versus like now, how has the feel of it changed?
Well, nobody's flipping any tables and board games over anymore.
That's true. I mean,
but the
You have to fill
serious-
me in on later. I want to know who did that.
Oh
What do you
no,
think?
just the whole trope of flipping the Monopoly
Oh.
boards over. That's all.
In other words, it's one of his brothers.
I think I know who.
I wonder which one.
Yeah, really. But otherwise, I was gonna say, from what my old brain can remember here, man, I'm trying to think. Old games, like I can't remember us having like parties where we broke out like board games too much. Usually it's been like the party games, like I mean, like Smash Brothers and stuff, and Halo, but they weren't games like Jackbox. It was, I don't know. It's more relaxed now than it was before. It was more like competitions with those games rather than more relaxed and having fun now.
So Simbu is looking to
Uh-huh.
rebut with a certain utensil, I'm assuming. Simbu, your rebuttal.
Oh, I mean, I'm just going to claim dominion here. on this one.
Oh, Dominion is fun. Yep. But I was trying to think of like parties, like
Like I remember us doing spoons a number of times.
that's true.
Yes.
Yeah, spoons.
And
Yeah,
that's gonna be one of mine to talk about.
yeah, yeah. Dominion is one of the better building your deck games. We've had a few fun ones. I mean, we had real fun with Catan and everything, and
But like I remember us doing like Circle of Death, especially in our early mid 20s. So like how would you facilitate that with well, look, I mean, you could still maybe it's like every funny answer or something in Jackbox, you do a shot.
oh, you die.
Like I don't know about or you
Die
do
by
maybe
the
you
end of it.
swig your beer or something. Like, I mean, I'm too old for that kind of like heavy drinking now anyway, but
With all of our dirty minds on Jackbox, we'd all die if we took shots for every answer.
I think that's the point.
But I think before it felt more I don't know, just thinking back, it feels more like competitions where now it's more fun with the Jackbox type games where it's more just having a big laugh, and it was more competition games back then.
Interesting. And I also wonder if it's the audience too, or the participants, because I've played with a number of different people where some got really competitive with the Jackbox games. And then
Really?
some are exactly like you had mentioned, Jason, where they're just like, oh, yeah, I'm just gonna chill. Oh, look at that. The mobster won again. Okay. Oh, let's just play, keep playing. All right. Well, that's cool. And then just keep kind of moving on.
Mhm.
Simbu, hold your thought for 1 second because I am definitely curious. I want to ask Storm, what are your thoughts on this?
You know, oh, see, I grew up with board games and stuff before video games really took hold and were in
Mhm.
more in households because that's the the awesome part being born in 1980, getting to see, video games eventually just become more of a household thing over time because at first they weren't. So board games definitely you're not gathering to play games as much. It really depends on audience and or is who I'm playing with. Like we have a handful of friends that we still play a few board games with those, but those board games have shifted to, instead of say playing Sorry or Monopoly or like Don't Wake Daddy, I can't think of any other the 80s games or like Operation. You're now playing Trivial Pursuit or Cards Against Humanity. Our games have now gone to card games. I absolutely love Cards Against Humanity, and some of the best answers and the most laughs have come from that. Or some other games have been categories. Um, any now those have like gone over to some of the Jackbox, and I'm thinking, see, I have too many things, all ideas going at once because there's a handful of friends we still do the traditional, I'm air quoting traditional gaming with, and then we have another handful of friends that we do more video game things with. And what I'd like about the video game versions of like Sorry or Monopoly or Clue is you can play those games now with family online. I have friends that I've played Clue with and have friends that I can play Monopoly with. And like I like playing Uno. The Uno on PlayStation or the Switch have been fun. So having those available because now you know, we don't have to just get together physically to play. We can play, across the countries and whatnot. So it and then to have the Jackbox, those are definitely fun when you're together with a group of people and you see someone typing their answer and you hear them laughing. You can't wait to see what they've come up when you just see them shaking as they're typing into their phone and it's going to be good. And you also, or if you put something in funny, you can't wait to see their expressions, to get that instant gratification. So yeah, It's changed. I definitely say though, would take out the electronic games or more of the card games. Like I will have to agree with Jason the 13th. Our games used to be a bit more competitive as kids, like hurry up to who got to the end first, like
Yep.
with Sorry, Candyland, whatever. You were who got to the end first, but now you're playing card games to, relax, and you're trying to make each other laugh and just even some trivia games now, like what's that meme, or where you try to come up with captions. All of those are for more social interactions instead of like, well, who's the funniest, but it's a different sort of competition. You don't care that so and so wins the final piece or whatever. You're just in it to have fun and not worry about winning.
No, that makes sense. And it's the age thing definitely plays a factor. And you mentioned one large one, and that's the distance. And it's a thing where obviously you couldn't play any of those type of games with people across the country. I mean, I remember watching cartoons where there would be people mailing moves to one another on like these chessboards, and I think there was an episode of Rugrats or something about that where the babies ruin their grandpa's chessboard and he's upset about, I don't know, but like that's the old style. But there's something to be said with the whole count everybody in one room, even playing these digital games, to be able to react and act to some of these sort of actions versus something where if everybody's just doing the Jackbox thing across the digital landscape, maybe it's not as fun. I couldn't say. I know one of the Discord groups that I'm on, they just recently did a Jackbox thing, and it was hilarious and amazing, and I really got to get to know a number of the great individuals there. So there's evidence that that works too.
Yeah.
Simbu, how about you? What are your thoughts on this?
So, I mean, Fox, you already said a certain utensil, and of course that would be a spoon. Clearest best memory of ever playing any board game ever is watching Uncle Tim's friend Gary. And mind you, he's about a 260-pound or more guy, dive across a table at your brother.
And this isn't competitive.
Not saying it wasn't competitive, but I'm saying it's the best memory ever because
that was one of the best.
Just him
games.
diving across the table at your brother to try and get the spoon because your brother grabbed the last one, and I remember being the one that snuggly took the first spoon to start it.
Yep.
No, yeah, sure. Jason the 13th's right. It was more competitive as kids, beating the chest and all that other stuff. But, there was a lot of fun to it though too. Like,
it was.
I look at, playing Magic the Gathering with the Mobleys, things like that. I mean, yeah, it was competitive, but it was always fun to see, ooh, what did you come up with? Because back then MTG was still on the newish side. So there wasn't, there hasn't been a full
that of course stands for Magic the Gathering, MTG Magic the Gathering, or just just telegraphing for those worried about us venturing into the world of politics. MTG Magic the Gathering. Sorry, continue, Simbu.
As a long time Magic player, you get into the abbreviations, so WOC would be Wizards of the Coast, things like that. You get into the abbreviations when you've been in something super long, but again, Magic the Gathering was new on the newish side at that time, so people had never seen a full elf deck, or they'd never seen a full, real goblin deck, or like the one day I broke out after Eventide came out, this set called Eventide came out, I broke out a full Kithkin deck, and I remember Jason the 13th face going, what the hell is that?
Now, Magic the Gathering actually has had a lot of progress in being offered online or digitally. Is that something that you'd be interested in doing if that was available, or you're just like, no, I want the original organic experience?
See, it is online. They do have a Hearthstone sort of thing. Jason the 13th could explain more on it. I'm not interested because there's no way to port my collection into the game. It's basically I would have to, it's like it's horse armor. It is horse armor. 100% horse armor because the cards you have zero real world value.
And it's not, you don't physically own those cards. It's just
Right.
all digitally. And I don't even, I'm not familiar enough with Magic the Gathering's digital presence to know if that's even the thing where you buy like them as DLC or gacha or whatnot.
I think it's a gotcha style
It's
because
gotcha.
you buy the
Because you're
packs
buying
and
you're buying Magic the Gathering packs online, and it's random what you get in your packs.
Yeah, I'd be exactly like you guys. At least that way, you play it in real life. You physically at least have the cards.
I would
Oh,
love
and
I would love to play online, but seeing as how I have to rebuy everything and build up a whole new collection online, mean that yeah, I spend too much money on the real one to go and spend a lot of money on an online collection.
right.
And
And
oh
you
god,
know,
I'm
for
sorry.
example, let's say I have Sarah Angel on digital. Well, the card in real life is, you know, let's for example, it could be worth $300. Well, I can't sell my digital Sarah Angel, but I could sell that physical Sarah Angel.
If there was somebody that wanted that's exactly it. Kind of course correcting back into the main pre-discussion question on this, but you make really good points. Just the idea of it being physically in the presence of somebody else and or multiple individuals, and even if you're doing a digital game, it's still with others. If it's something that's in the presence of others, kind of like what Storm had said, enjoying people's reactions before the funny answer or not so funny answer tends to get deployed. Now,
Right.
Jamie Owls,
Oh,
let me ask you the same question based on your experience from like parties and whatnot and friend get-togethers in your I guess in your younger years versus more current ones. How have party games changed with the inception of games like the Jackbox Party Pack?
So growing up, most of my friends and family, when we would have board game nights, it's the typical Monopoly, Life, checkers, Chinese checkers, and all those. I have to agree with Stormrose and Simbu that there's just a certain vibe when it comes to playing like board games. Like there's a sense of competition. You're still having fun, but when I think back on it, there's not like so much laughter. Like you're playing to try to win versus digital games like Jackbox. When you're playing with people, it's more about the fun and knowing the friend who is the goofball, what their answers are going to be. And it's just like a sense of like humor. Like you just need a really good laugh sometimes. So when you play Jackbox, you're around friends and you're seeing their outrageous answers. Some of them that are just like I remember you had some friends over and some of their answers on the screens were a little out there and you were laughing for like a half hour. I remember. I think you even took a screenshot of it, but yeah, even like growing up, the video games, like I never felt as competitive versus I didn't feel as competitive playing a video game versus a board game, but with video games I just more about having fun and just having a good laugh.
Yeah, definitely well put. I could definitely see that and be sort of attribute to that. I really think that's also an age thing. It almost makes me wish we had a token Gen Z individual in our group to see how much tell their experiences with in-person get-togethers if they even have them nowadays. I don't know if they're doing that or they're skibbity toilet riz lit. Whatever the Gen Zers are doing in meeting. Couldn't tell you. Let us know in the comment section below if you are Gen Z and you do have in-person get-togethers, what you guys do play. Are these party games part of it? We're definitely curious. Moving on to our next segment here as Simbu hurries and texts for help, I think it was. Look like that's what he was doing.
Phone a friend.
Yeah, a special phone a friend. Our next sort of topic of discussion this was a really good one, not really related to the first one, but both were two excellent suggestions from our crew here, a certain storm-related member here. And it is the question of what would your dream game room look like? And we're posing it to you, the audience, first. So let us know in the comments section below if you're watching / listening on YouTube. Let us know what your dream game room would look like. Now you can kind of see I've got it a little bit on my end in the background here. Mine would only just encompass maybe more room, more space, well, more room for not only my desk, but also Jamie Owl's desk, and where Jamie Owls can have an expansion of her stuff. But I kind of have her stuff with my stuff. Like maybe we have like desks near one another that like that would be nice to be able to have both of us in here. Because this is a small room. It's like a 13 by 9 room. I am very fortunate to even have a room. I will say that. But so yeah, mine is just maybe a little, maybe a bit bigger. And I'd probably have, so I have 2 arcade 1-ups. I would have, some more arcade 1-ups or
Those
more.
fingers going.
Yeah, I could. So one of my buddies, Feral Inferno, here on YouTube, he has I believe it's a basement style game room, and within that, he's got at least 6 to 8 different arcade 1-ups. That how he has that the amount of space and the amount of arcade 1-ups is really how well done that I feel his is. We're going to put in the description section below a link to Feral's channel because he has done tours of his game room with the arcade 1-ups. I recommend checking that out. So I've done game room tours. Make sure that you check that out too. We're going to have links in the description. Enough pimping mine and Feral's game room stuff. Let's ask the crew here. I'm really curious, and I said part of mine, Jamie Owls. What does your dream game room look like, and what does it have inside of it? Who is your daddy? What does he do? What is there any piece of art or any figure? Is there any artifact that you would love to see? Definitely let us know.
So I recently thought of this not too long ago. I even shared some videos to show you like an example of how I would want my setup to be. For those who know me, one day I like to have my own library, so that is in one room I like to have. But as for a game room, down the road, when we find a bigger place, I mentioned to Inferno that I wouldn't mind combining my setup along with his, like depending the size of room, I could just have like one corner and then he could have his side. How I want mine set up, I like to decorate it like in my style, kind of girly, maybe having some nice colors, white desk, maybe my own computer screen. Not so much playing as a PC gamer, but setting up my own like TV where I could hook up my Switch and just be in the game room and play a lot of Switch games. Or even just having a couch down there to play PlayStation, because that can be our literal game room, because in our living room we have the PlayStation that we play. But for my setup, I definitely want to set it up with a lot of cute animal figurines, some of my video game statues that I already have, maybe have it more surround my side, a display of my video game collection. So lots of purple, lots of pink colors, maybe some plants, some cats, some owls. So anything that just screams me. So
Now, are those live owls? Are they live cats? I mean,
maybe. Well, we already have 2 live cats, so maybe add one more.
okay, because I'm like, I don't think I could handle the live owls. I'm good with the live cats as long as the cat number doesn't get beyond 3.
Yeah.
So no, that's nice. I would love that too if we had a nice room like at my father's house. He's got a split level where
Mhm.
it's like a living area, dining, kitchen, and then upstairs to the bedrooms, and then downstairs is to like another living area. And there's that downstairs would essentially be the game room. And that's essentially how I would want to get so, and then that room tends to be a little cooler in
Mhm.
the winter months, which would be perfect for a game room, especially if you're PC gaming. You want to make sure everything is nice and cool down there. So I think D, my father, has a really good setup with that. So nice. I could definitely see that. Jason the 13th. What about you? I see you've got in your room there a little
I
bit
got
of
a
the
little
game
bit.
stuff,
Uh-huh.
but I'm gonna guess you're gonna want a little bit more room than you got right
Oh
there.
yeah.
What is
Definitely more
your
room.
dream game room?
So you can't see on the other side of my room. I already have 2 TVs set up with a PS5 on one and a PS4 on the other. So I would definitely need more space, and I would do what you and like Rad Bash and a few lots of others do, where I'd have a section that just has all my video games lined up. Then I would need wall space for a lot of my art because I have a lot of posters and stuff that I would love to hang up. I've got plenty more of my first 4 figures and a few other figures that I would need rooms to display. And I would want to try and kind of do what you do. And I know in yours, if anyone watches on your old game room tours, how you have it separated where I'd have all my Zelda stuff in one spot, all the Mega Mans, all the just break it up into the different games to where it's not just a jumble of mixed up. And there's a couple of those one-up arcades that I wouldn't mind getting. So of course, the room that's the biggest thing. It how you design it would all be on how big the room is, of course.
Now, what are a couple of the arcade one-ups that you want to get?
Oh, I want the Marvel one with all the Marvel games, and they did the Mega Man one, and I know it only has like one Mega Man game, but I'd still want that one just for the one Mega Man game.
Was that the Mega Man Power Battle? Was it the small little unit thing? I think
Yeah,
I
it was
sent
like
you.
the tabletop one that they
Okay.
did. Yep.
So I'm an idiot, and I would probably want to get that if they made a full-sized one, but
Again, if they made it full size, it'd be better.
I don't, it would have to have more than just what's on my Street Fighter 2 cabinet, which I'd
I
assume
know, I
it would
know.
have.
Yeah, right. I would love to see one that has like all the Mega Man games basically on it, but
Yeah, because at least that way you're getting the bang for your buck.
I would love to get the Marvel one that has the X-Men and the Avengers and all that. That would probably be the first one I get that I know is out. Then I would look to see if they have anything else. Like if they had, hell, even if I could find like an actual arcade game that would be like the old Simpsons one or something like that that I used to play a lot of, that would be fun. But again, you need room, and I don't have that big of a room.
Yeah, and of course that's what makes this the dream game room
Right. So
scenario.
between statues and posters and artwork and just displaying the video games. Hell, I would have like a spot where even if I don't have the systems hooked up to display all the systems, because I have every generation of all of my systems.
Yeah, exactly.
Unfortunately for Sega, I never collected you, so I don't have like any Sega systems hardly.
Yeah,
But
you call yourself a video game fan. You
I've
don't
got
have the
every like Nintendo
SG-1000.
game, every Nintendo, and like every PlayStation. I'm only missing like one PlayStation system.
But you don't have the SG-1000. You don't have the Sega
Nope.
Master System.
Nope.
You don't have the Sega Saturn.
Nope.
Gosh,
I don't even have a Sega Genesis.
Oh man, I don't know.
I got one of those.
I have a Dreamcast, and then it goes to Xbox.
Oh, so you lied. You said you didn't have any Sega systems.
No,
You
no,
have one. You have the Dreamcast.
I have one Sega system. Yep.
Nice. No, that's cool. Storm, how about you? What would consist of your dream game room scenario? What would it look like? What's in it? What's your prize possession? Any arcade one-ups? What are we looking at here?
Okay. So you know all the little like cube triangle lights that some people have in their game rooms that change
Yes.
colors?
Yeah.
Yep.
I want some of those so bad. I think they look awesome. So it would have a whole bunch of those, and my, 300 and something Funkos would all be out on display, and we would be able to display the Marvel collection with the Marvel movies once more. I used to have that set up until we moved, and I lost the bookshelf and the shelves that housed the Funkos got broken in our move from
Ooh.
Wisconsin to Colorado. So
That
yeah.
sucks.
Yes. So they are living in boxes right now. Still, I have a few of them out, but not as much as I want. Anyway, so it would have that, and I would do some like purple and black themed whatever as far as decoration, but they're definitely more collectibles I would want and to be able to properly display them. And also have a bookshelf for some of my favorite books. But as far as consoles go, I would have Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo, a Nintendo 64, the Nintendo Switches, my Xbox 360 with a Kinect, and the PlayStation 5. And that
Nice.
would all be, and some sort of PC so I could then get on Steam, because there are games on Steam for PC that I found that I really want to play, like the storm chasing things. There are a couple of them actually. I had no idea, and yeah, I would like to try those out, but I need PC for that, so that is back burner to make that more of a reality sooner rather than later. But there are games on all of those systems. Oh, I can't forget Atari 2600. I would also have one of those. Was it 2600 or was it 3600? I think it was 26.
Yes, it's 2600 because it's
Thank you.
2600, then the 5200, and then the 7800.
Yep.
And then
2600.
the Lynx, I think, and then the Jaguar, and I think that was it.
I don't remember any of those. But because there are all games for each system that I had and liked, and for some movement, I would love to have the Xbox 360 with the Kinect again. We had Dance Central, all variants of it, and it was absolutely great. And one of my favorite memories with the 360 and the Kinect, we had a deaf performer, Robert DeMeo. He's a deaf actor outside of Philadelphia, came to stay with us when my husband was going to Southern Illinois University, and he actually performed a couple of songs on the Kinect with the Dance Central. As long as you can see the patterns where to move, but as long as the beat and the music was loud enough, he has very, very minimal hearing, so he could hear a little bit of the music. But it was just awesome to watch him dance to Rihanna, and he beat my score. So that is the deaf guy beat the hearing person at a dance music song. So that's been great memory. So that's what I would have in my room outside of, and the one-ups, if they do one of Pac-Man or Miss Pac-Man, they have to have one of those. Our friends have a sit-down style Pac-Man in their basement that we got to see at New Year's, and that was awesome. To like each person could sit on the side and play this weird little Pac-Man thing. But I would love a stand-up.
Those are the Pac-Man games that used to be in like the Pizza Huts.
Yep, that's what I was just thinking of.
Jason, we have a cousin that used to have one of those.
Yep.
Really, that's awesome. I don't remember those from I don't remember those in Pizza Hut, but wow.
Yeah, because our arcade one up, they made sure to get the Pac-Man license pretty much when they were getting like set up. So they've iterated and reiterated a number of times on that, so you could get it. The one thing I don't like is that there's no single arcade one up that contains both Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man. They're always separated. Sometimes the Pac-Man one has Pac-Man and like Pac Junior and Super Pac-Man and Pac-Land, and then Miss Pac-Man has the same other Pac-Man games, but they never have the two. And it's the whole controversy of what is it, Miss Pac-Man not actually being a Namco game until it was finally bought like 10 or 15 years ago or some crazy stuff like that. There's a lot of history with Ms. Pac-Man, and then I think they retconned her to be Mrs. Pac-Man and changed her overall look 5 years ago. I think we touched upon this like in a previous podcast episode because this seems familiar, but that would definitely be in your collection. I could definitely see a Pac-Man. Why not both? It's the dream one.
Yep.
Yes.
You got a Pac-Man, you got a Miss Pac-Man, and then a Tetris.
Yep, absolutely. In a dream world, I have all three of those, separate individual things. And also in a dream world, I have a house big enough that has its own tilt-a-whirl. Either outside in a basement or in my backyard next to my swimming pool. I have
Yeah,
my
hell of
own
a basement.
tilt-a-whirl. I know, right?
Mhm.
But it would be great. My own carnival. Anyway.
That's fun. That's a fun one.
Although, real quick, if it's Dream World, when I went to Vegas that one time, I got to play on like the largest Tetris system.
Did you really?
Yep. Let's see if I can find the picture of that and send it to you. But
Yes, please do. That's awesome.
That would be the Tetris system for you in your basement.
See, I still want to do the thing where you see pictures of people playing like Madden on the big television in stadiums and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that would be fun.
Like I would love to just throw like Smash Brothers or Mario Kart on that and like playing with people and seeing like having people be like, the screen is over 200 feet bit long. I still can't find my guy.
That would be me.
Well,
I would lose
there's
the Mario.
people that rent out movie theaters to play, to do like game nights and stuff.
Yeah, and I've thought about that. Like I just getting people coordinated enough to want to do something like, yeah, I don't know, that would almost sound like a interesting party idea. Simbu, though, let's move on to you and ask you what the dream game room would look like. And we were talking before the start of the podcast, so don't feel limited to just having video game stuff in your game room because you made some fun suggestions, and I want to have you opened for that.
All right. Well, first off, I'm going to temporarily remove my background. For those of you who are watching, you're going to get to see a little bit of the bedroom here, which I have basically taken over. So behind me, I've got my pirate flag because pirate's life for me. But my dream game setup, of course, obviously I will have all my stuff. You can see my PS5, my Switch, all my Legos, my collectibles.
Oh yeah, he's a Lego fanatic.
Yes, I've got all the Legos, and quite a few of them even light up for those of you who are watching. Ecto 1 that lights up and everything like that. So obviously, I would want a room that I could sit there and put like this. This bothers me right here. All this jumbled up right here. A whole bunch of collectibles mixed in with Lego figures and things like that. It bugs me.
That's where you need the space. That way it's all separated.
Exactly. And that's exactly what I'm trying to say is I want my dream room is obviously to have the more space, being able to put that stuff around, be able to fully, display it and not have things piled up on each other. Now, theming wise, one wall probably the wall that if I were to be a camera streamer, the wall behind me would not have the pirate flag on it. But that would be some sort of a horror painted wall. So like a mashup of, you see the pictures of, you know, they have like all the Freddy and Jason and Michael and Pinhead and Scream and all that, you know, it would be like some kind of a horror mashup.
Oh, that's cool.
One wall would obviously be like a childhood mashup for me. So like things that I enjoyed when I was a kid. So Magic the Gathering would be there, you know, Sonic the Hedgehog, Mario, Super Smash TV. So just kind of a hodgepodge of stuff like that. Another wall would be obviously nothing but Star Wars. It would be a Star Wars themed painted wall, you know. And then of course, you know, I have to do Back to the Future. Why wouldn't you have Back to the Future as one wall? And of course the Back to the Future wall would have the DeLorean, you know, EVA foamed out couch style, so you can actually sit on it. So it'd be kind of cut DeLorean, but cut into a couch. So, you know, and of course, again, trying to be realistic here, because you're not going to take a whole DeLorean and cut it in half and stick it in there and
Why
make
not?
it a couch.
It's a dream room.
Yeah, but let's be practical. I'm not dragging that thing either upstairs, inside a house, downstairs into a basement. You know, now if I had like a man shed back out in the backyard where this would be, maybe you just pull the DeLorean in and smash it into the wall and let it do that way. That way, half the DeLorean's inside, half the DeLorean's sitting outside. Hey, 2 couches. Obviously,
shed.
you know, hey, they have she sheds, man sheds. I mean, it's the same thing, right? It's just be a shed out back for, you know, either a he or a she. You know, depending on which pronoun you're going with on the, you know, prefix there. But obviously, it's no secret, I am a haunt actor. I've been a haunt actor for, you know, the majority of my life. So somewhere in there, as those of you who are watching saw the Choppy trophy from the Scare Actor Spectacular, you know, it would have a little small part of the one corner of the room would have, you know, shelves with my accomplishments and, you know, my awards. And then of course a life-size mannequin with Simbu's outfit on it. 100% would have to do it. And
oh yeah,
you know, one other thing is, yeah, okay, I'm gonna be a little sentimental here, but probably right above where my TV and my monitor would have to be the picture of me proposing to my wife in Disney. Because as anybody who knows, Disney is a huge thing for me. So getting to propose to my wife at Disney World was, you know, next best thing to be able to afford a wedding at Disney.
No, that's cool. It's nice to have that sentimentality and have that representation of your partner. But yeah, if only we had the additional room, the additional space and everything like that, then we'd be able to, it'd be crazy to see what we could do. Let's speculate, because we got a little bit of extra time here. We're missing 2 of our castmates, and that of course is Hillbilly Hardicus as well as Astrimedes. Astrimedes is a developer and co-owner of Second Place Games. I'm wondering, and let's have some fun, some positive fun. What would their game room?
I already have a
of?
whole idea for Astrimedes.
So, yeah, Jason the 13th. What would Astrimedes' game room look like?
It would be completely different. It wouldn't look like a game room. It would be a game room in the sense that he plays his PC games and creates games. It's gonna look like a whole, like,
It's gonna look like a computer room.
yeah, I was gonna say like an Apple store where you got computers like everywhere, and then there'd be a section dedicated for where he's just doing his coding.
See, I think Astrimedes would more be like a no signal room. to where his job can't find him, his job can't get a hold of him. He somehow has a DND or do not disturb for those who are listening and don't know what DND stands for. And I'm not talking about Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, see, that's what I was thinking. Dungeons and Dragons, because he does run a game. He runs a
Now
weekly
that-
game.
I
So.
He
could
does.
see Hardicus having the D&D Dungeons and Dragons room.
Hardicus would be like, I don't know, straight out of Astaroth or something. Like that's what his game room would look like. It would look like the hub, like the main hub area for either the Horde or the Alliance, depending on which side he prefers, orcs or humans. But yeah, Astrimedes would just be, it would be a, like, I feel it should be like a Zen garden. Like his game room should be like a Zen garden.
I
You
can,
know, again, he's got the, go ahead.
oh, sorry, I could see it being something like JP's from Grandma's Boy.
Yes. Yes.
Just a singular monitor, you know? Maybe amongst the garden there's Simbu, but like he has a big glass window that he can see outside of and just has a single little desk in the middle. And he can look amongst the garden and watch little, you know,
Right.
cow
And like,
the fish
again,
and stuff.
yes, I 100% agree, because like he seems like, you know, it seems like coding and stuff like that, you know, his normal job, you know, as we talk all offline as well, stresses him out. And you know, anybody who has a regular 9 to 5 or whatever, and in his case it's like a 9 to 9 o'clock 3 weeks from now. But you know, I feel like that would be, like Storm said, he would have the desk, he'd have the monitor, he'd have his PC, but again, there would be the do not disturb on everything. You know, it'd just be like a you know, relaxing kind of tranquil Zen garden for him to be in. That would just kind of nice and peaceful.
Jamie Owls, what are your thoughts? What would you see being in Hardicus and Astrimedes game rooms?
Astrimedes, I have to agree with Simbu with everything. For Hardicus, I could see his setup kind of looking like a medieval themed Skyrim slash World of Warcraft, and also adding in a few horror, like Halloween, Friday the 13th sort of genre. Yeah, I could see Hardicus having a lot more horror theme, and his room be really dark, maybe having figurines and some video games displayed. Yeah, that'd be my guess.
Lots of D&D stuff.
D&D,
Mhm.
yeah, true.
And you know, a poster of the Capcom fighters, the Marvel versus
Ooh.
Capcom, like Inferno, your big Smash Brothers Ultimate poster that has every character.
Yeah.
If that existed for that Capcom Marvel versus Marvel, I believe Hardicus would have one of those
Mhm.
as well.
Jamie Owls, it's interesting you mentioned that Hardicus's room would be a bit more dungeon lit, as in darker. I foresee, bringing that up, I foresee him having like not real torches, but like the LED
Yeah.
flame torches as
Yes.
his like
Yeah,
primary
I do too.
lighting. And you know how you see the people that on like TikTok or whatever, I saw it on Instagram, where they have the cotton up on the ceiling and they have the LED strips that
Yeah.
run underneath it. Like he would set it up like that to where it'd be like a sky scene above him or something,
And I think
like thunder and
Hardicus
lightning.
Hardicus would be the only one of us that would have the actual fireplace in his room, so he could have the real fire going
That's
at the same
true.
time.
Warm yourself, weary traveler, by my hearth.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's too funny. See, I feel like his room would Hardicus's would be more like video game heavy and anime heavy. There would be a really large Dragon Ball Z element.
Oh yeah.
Really large, specifically focused on like Vegeta and Majin Vegeta. He would have the video game element would be JRPG heavy, the classic JRPGs, early Final Fantasies, some of the current turn-based, and then as we've all alluded to here, we've all said it, World of Warcraft. There's going to be a lot of World of Warcraft stuff. I don't know. I know he likes horror, but I don't know if I could see it being a lot of the horror element. For Astrimedes, Simbu, you hit the nail on the head where there'll be the Zen element, but it'll be also some computers there where he likes to chastise himself for not focusing more on coding. So he's got to have his code there. And if he sets up the computer to be able to overlook the Zen garden, then he's going to feel motivated to actually code. Now, will he actually code? Will he actually do it? That's why he's got another desk. He's got another computer desk set up so that his big PC gaming rig can allow him to do Steam gaming and all of his indies and everything that he loves. That's on the one side. The center is the coding rig, and on the other side is his wife's gaming rig for both her computer and for any of the gaming that she wants to do with her Super Nintendo or even the Switch. If I can't remember well, I mean, it's a dream room, so they have a Switch, so she can do the newest Mario Kart if she'd like. And Astrimedes would be like me. It wouldn't be a game room without his partner. So I could see her having like her own part of the room. I don't know. Maybe I'm speaking out of turn there, but yeah. So that essentially is our thoughts on what the dream room or dream game room would be for us all. So
I have one little addition, since when I started, I was thinking video games and I wasn't thinking outside the box. I would totally have a chunk that would all be anime stuff too.
Nope.
Yep.
It's stricken from the record.
Oh, yeah.
Jury, we were instructed to strike that from the record because you've already said your third. You're done.
I would probably have a lot of little animal figurines around mine too.
You actually said that. You actually said animal.
You brought up animals.
But a little bit more.
Not
just owls and cats. Like
I would have
and
some Legos. There are some Lego sets they want, and Simbu's Ecto one is freaking fabulous. I love it.
Yeah, I just want
listening.
I just want the video game things. That's all that I want. Sorry, Simbu, go ahead.
And
hearing Fox and knowing Fox's game room, what it looks like, and hearing Jamie Owl's idea of what her game room would look like. I would like to venture the idea of maybe a Mario Peach or a Link Zelda theme for the two of you for your combined room. Like the overall scheme would be Zelda one side, Link the other, but of course filled with your own personal, tastes for like knickknacks and decoration.
That could be like an idea, we'd have to agree on what would be the theming with that. That's interesting. That's fun. Most importantly, though, again, we said it at the beginning of this inquiry. We're putting it at the end. Let us know your thoughts on what you would like our audience to be your dream game room. And if you already have them, send us what your game room would look or currently looks like. If you're a YouTube content creator, hopefully you have done game room tours. I mentioned Feral Inferno's game room tour. We're going to make sure to link that in the description below, so you make sure you check that out. But yeah, huge thank you to everybody here on our fantastic cast and crew. We had a hard pivot, but I feel that we pivoted successfully, and I feel like we've got some good dream game rooms here. We got a good setup. So yes, and thank you again to the audience here for joining us, and we hope that you guys have a great day. Wait, actually, nope, not yet. Parting shots, final parting shots.
Final parting shots.
I got
put us on the spot.
Fox.
Yeah.
Fox, do I have permission? Do I have permission for one time?
Provided there's no swears, yes.
Jason the 13th room would have hentai.
And there you have it. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a good day.